doing on this finally not raining morning. It has been pouring. Today it's not, so that's nice. So I want to talk about something I think I might have spoken about before or thought about before. And if I have, I apologise if you watched the video about it just a moment ago, but if not, here it comes. So I backed a ZX Spectrum, the ZX Spectrum Next, and as a kid I had a Spectrum, so I backed it on Kickstarter 3 years ago, and it turned up last weekend. And it's a really beautiful piece of design. The book that comes with it is of the same kind of ilk of the original ZX Spectrum book. Like it's dense, teaches you how to program, really good quality stuff. And I've been kind of enjoying like relearning some of that stuff and tinkering in BASIC, having a look at the graphics and so on. And there's a whole load of things about like retro gaming and retro computers, and seeing it through kind of like looking back in time is very kind of like misty, and therefore you don't see clearly. It looks better than it did. But actually also I heard quite an interesting thing about the Spectrum in particular. Spectrum had 15 colours, had this thing called Attribute Clash, and the graphics weren't very good. But it's because of that you would fill in the blanks with your imagination, and there'd be a lot more engagement in the games because you would kind of, you would be more involved. And that's what created a lot of love for that particular machine. And anyway, so I've been looking at BASIC, and I've also been kind of sort of teaching my 5-year-old, nearly 6, 6-year-old by teaching her some BASIC. And really by teaching I mean like I'll print it out, she copies it, and she sees what's happened. So and I put out a tweet saying like, what would you suggest learning next? And a few people were kind of like, don't look at GoToSub and GoTo, because they didn't give the reasons, but they were suggesting that it's better to look at more of a traditional languages, I guess, like Python or even JavaScript. And they weren't saying that you should be teaching a 5-year-old or a nearly 6 that kind of language, but more that the BASIC is kind of done. And I've been thinking about this as well. I've been kind of like toiling with it in my head. Why bother learning like BASIC, or even writing anything for a piece of hardware that will probably only be used by you? And it's kind of a fine balance for me between doing it because I enjoy it and doing it to learn something that's practical. And I think that I'm trying to convince myself in this sit down session talking to you that I need to learn to kind of be okay with it not having any real value. I think that learning BASIC for the hell of it, just to make something, is good enough. I don't have to learn, you have to learn, logic conditions and hardware graphics and assembly, and it doesn't have to have a practical application further down the line. It'd be cool if you could just make something on a particular machine that only you can do. I feel like there needs to be a bit more of that. Just do it to enjoy it. And I think that our web community is very focused on releasing the next new thing and the best thing and so on. And certainly when I'm coding, even like a random side project, I'm always thinking about how someone else is going to use it, which on one hand is good, on the other hand it kind of I think it stops me from being completely creative, like fully creative, or like silly creative. I think about how well it might work on someone's machine. It doesn't have all the technology, and I need the build steps to make it not cross browser, but like, what about the browsers don't support imports and so on? And I need to kind of remember to build some stuff just for me, and that's okay. So I'm still reading this massive manual, learning about BASIC, relearning bits of BASIC. I mean, I wrote some programs way back, but they weren't that good. Like way back, like quite literally 3 decades ago, or more. And it was nice. It was fun, and I feel weird about making something that won't be used, but I think that needs to be okay. So maybe you made something that hasn't been used by anyone and isn't going to be used by anyone and is completely okay with not being used by anyone. I think we should do more of that. All right, bye.